board. We all are. We're all doing the same thing. We're just not bragging about it. You know what I mean? Like I would just stop, it's the only thing I've been doing. It's just stay low key, stay in front of your peeps.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I mean, that's how I roll normally anyway, so.
I agree. I'm with you.
How are you doing? How are you doing with your current clients right now on the listing side? What are you telling them? What are they telling you right now?
Well, the vacant ones, they're like a little freaking out because they're like, well, you can still show properties while they're vacant. I'm like, yes, but a lot of people have no interest going out in public. At the same time, we're going to decide on price drops as soon as we are allowed to show properties in full scale again. So I don't feel like there is any reason to price drop any homes right now, based on the fact that nobody's out there shopping, so to speak, technically, physically doing the activities to buy a home. So
is Chris somewhere in a tropical place right now?
Yeah, he's in his head. That's about it.
I wish I was in our place in Cabo. That's for sure. I'll say that right now. I'm trying to keep
I'd be there if that was the case. Trust me.
Yeah, the spirit's high right now.
Can you guys hear me? Am I here?
You're here, Jim.
Yep.
All right, perfect. I'm just not getting it on my full screen, but I can see a small screen with you guys, so that'll work.
Someone's sharing their screen
What's up?
right now, I think, as well.
What's up,
Oh,
Justin?
is that what it is?
I gotta take my mute off. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Justin? How are you? Justin Phoebe, Justin Breslin.
Good, man. Good to see you. So someone's sharing their screen.
We are viewing Donk's screen. DAWNK. Who's Donk?
Sharon.
And if you were Donk, would you admit that you were Donk?
Who's the
Okay, that's
person running
me.
it?
I'm sorry because I'm not trying to share. I was trying to get it up to my TV so that Pat and I can both watch together. Okay, so sorry, my technologically challenged mind here is actually causing issues. So what do I do? Should I just like?
There's a screen share tab. You should stop screen share.
And where is that?
On my computer, it's
stop share. I see it. There you go.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you, Chris. Hey, Chris. Patty Tabor here. Also.
Hey, how are you?
Well,
Chris, it looks beautiful where you are.
yeah.
All right.
Is that just a backdrop, Chris?
Is that a fake background?
I think so. Yeah.
No.
You got a green screen, right?
Oh, the breeze is killing me. The breeze is killing me right now.
I like it.
I love the props. Nice job.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, Val.
Can't hear Val.
Valerie went silent.
Can't hear you.
All right.
Dawn, can we sit maybe over there without the light in the back?
Yeah.
Oh, we should probably mute when we talk. Here's my schmutz.
Yes, well, we'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. Sound good, Brandon? You're on mute, buddy.
Sounds good to me.
Chris, it looks like you're on a nice vacation.
What's up, Justin? How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing great.
We are on day one of lockdown here in Atlanta. So
Oh,
most
lucky
people have
you.
been kind of self-quarantining for the last week or so. I've only been out a couple of times. So we got 14 days here, but you guys have been self-quarantining or mandated for a while, right?
Yeah, we're like quarantine pros at this point.
I have two words for you. Good luck.
Y'all disappeared. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Here.
I just can't see you. I don't know where you went. There you go. Okay.
I'm in my dining room if you're looking for me.
Hey, Valerie, do you know how to share your screen?
Oh, God, I knew that was going to happen.
Well, you're going to have to do it.
I think so, yeah. I think share at the bottom, right? It says share.
Yeah,
The
and
little
pull up that
arrow.
file that I sent you.
I haven't.
Okay, why don't we try it real quick just to see?
Sounds like a plan.
Hey, real quick, because I really want to make the
How
most
about
of
right
this,
there?
especially and Justin CB's time as well, and more purposeful for everyone on the call. I had a good talk with Karen Jenkins yesterday from Title.
Someone else is sharing their screen.
I will tell you that Karen and Marianne and Melissa in our Title company are absolutely just doing an amazing job, putting themselves, kind of at the forefront, a little bit in harm's way. A lot of agents are asking that they move their closings to this month. Obviously, they're doing their best to fit everybody in, and they are working tirelessly. I mean, they were there late last night. I bought dinner for both of them so that when they got home, they had something to eat. I mean, they're really just doing an amazing job. So for those of you that are using them, and I'm sure you're doing it already, but certainly text them and thank them for what they're doing. They're just doing an amazing job. I can't even emphasize enough on what it means to us that they're there day in and day out, representing us, the agents, and the market center. So just wanted to put that out there first. I know I spoke to the GM for the building at 1619 Walnut, and they're keeping the building open for us so we can do closings, which is great. We'll see what happens come April 1st, so that'll be another discussion. Hopefully, it'll be business as usual come the first or second week of April, but we'll see what happens. So that was just an update from Title building standpoint, and I hope everyone is doing well and everyone's family is safe first and foremost. Hey Val, I think you should be the one to introduce Justin.
Sure.
Given that you know him pretty well.
I do. So for everyone or anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Valerie Gonzalez. I am the Director of Sales and the lead agent here in Philadelphia for the CB Group. We were the Graham CB Group for about 5 years and then became the CB Group a couple of years ago. We started in 2013 with Justin CB, who he and I have been friends since 1996.
Wow.
And we grew up in real estate together. And he started a new real estate team in 2013. And when I saw that opportunity, I said, sign me up, please. I had been just a single agent at KW since 2010. After having been, I'd been a single agent for a long time, since 97, but I'd been on a team and then had gone to a boutique firm and had joined KW in 2010. So agents do join brokerages in shifting markets. So Justin started a new team in 2013. I jumped on the opportunity and I've been with him ever since. So Justin CB is joining us today to Mastermind, and I'll let him talk about who we are and what we were and all those great things.
So, I mean, I guess who we are is who your agents are for me. I mean, building a team is not me. It's finding talent and putting the right people together. So, we've built a good team. We've done about 100 million on average the last couple of years, usually top 50 in KW and Gary's mastermind, working with Gary directly to kind of rebuild our business. Everything about what we do is kind of giving back to our team, or I do, and that's why I'm happy to be here and be with you guys and kind of figure out what's going on. So Val or Brandon, why don't you tell me kind of what the outline is of the day? I mean, we have some topics. We have something like that. How would you like us to run it?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, it's going to be a little different than we normally run things, but Val and I talked for a little bit the other day about some of the topics I've been hearing, some of the questions I've been getting from a lot of people. So we have a good, array of topics to run through. But basically, if you could talk about what you guys are doing now with the impending, shift in our market, especially now that you're quarantined, all locked down, you're not quarantined. But, what you guys are doing, how you're adapting, and then just talk about, the overall state of what you're hearing in maybe the country, because I know you're pretty tapped in on a higher level.
Well, it's interesting, and that's kind of where I was going to start was, start with you guys, because I'd like to hear kind of what's going on in your market. I don't know who has their finger on the pulse of your office. It's probably you. What are you seeing there?
So, I mean, the biggest thing I think is uncertainty of how you can actually conduct business right now. So they're getting pretty serious and strict on showings and open houses. Obviously, you can't really be doing that. The issues around, okay, if I can't meet someone physically in person, how can I still sell a house? And then the next step is, if I can't, if I can't meet someone in person, how can I sell a house? If I can't sell a house, what do I do?
Right. So that's
that transgression.
That's kind of the structure of how you do that. I mean, so real quickly, and I don't want to get into it too much, but I mean, here we're busy, and every one of my agents is super busy. And when I talk to them, it's, they're busier than they have been in the last 4 or 5 months. Is that what you're seeing there?
Yeah, I think the people that, and anyone can chime in if they want, but the people that were really busy, everyone on this call that was really busy before is still really busy.
Okay, good. That's what we're feeling here too.
It's like, it's urgency time, right? So
let's dive into that. Let's dive into that real quick and kind of talk about, why are we busy right now? And I'd love to hear people's input on that. I have my own opinion, but I mean, I was fearful going into this that, business would drop off, and actually it's taken off. I would love to hear if anybody has any input on that, and I'm happy to share my vision.
So this is Dana.
Yeah.
So I have a lot more clients that are home and available now. So, whereas before, if maybe they work 9 to 5, now they're home and they can do a 9 a.m. call or Zoom meeting. So people are a lot more available. They're sitting at home. They're looking online. So they're bored, so they want the information. They want the insight. So, people are definitely a lot more open to having those conversations.
Yeah, and just now, a lot of the agents that are on this call right now, have a great pipeline, but now's the time for everyone to double down, and 30, 60, 90 days from now to fill their pipeline even more, and then also concrete those relationships that they currently have right now. This is just a great opportunity. Like Dana said, almost everyone is at home right now. So what a great opportunity to connect with people and show real value.
I think Gary said it best last week in his conversation with Jay Papazon, when he said it's what you're doing now and the connections that you're kind of nursing now and taking care of now, those relationships, reconnecting, re-strengthening those relationships, that's what's going to position you to be first when the time comes. I mean, regardless of what that we're practicing real estate right now, it's about when all of this gets lifted, who's going to be first.
Yeah, and the relationships that with the current clients right now are stronger than ever. I mean, I've probably not been in contact with a current client as many times in a single day as I've ever been. And they're very appreciative, and just showing that you care beyond the real estate transaction really seems to make a difference.
It went from 36 touch to 72 touch overnight.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah, people started finally doing what we've been telling them to do forever because they're stuck at home, and it's kind of crazy. So are you guys, any of you guys, when you're talking about the buyers, because that's exactly kind of where I think this starts, are they the millennials? Is that where you're seeing where your buyers are?
Well, good morning, Avi here. I see a lot of opportunity here, and not just the millennium. I see a variety of clienteles coming from every direction, because in any crisis, a lot of things are waking up. First of all, people taking seriously that life is short, so it's time to buy a home. Then we highlight the fact that you have interest rate very, very low. A lot of people doing refinancing, and a lot of people are building a lot of the credit right now. There's a lot of good things happening right now, and definitely we see agents that don't have the support and the backbone of good market center reach out to us and start bringing their client to us because they are going out of business. So we see a lot of traffic from every directions nowadays. And with all what's going on, we understand that there's huge opportunity to everybody to make a lot of it.
Yeah, and I see with the millennials too, while they may be some of the most panicked, I guess, for lack of better terms, they're also the ones that are all still working for the most part. Most of them are holding professional jobs. They're mostly able to work remotely and not being laid off. Whereas some of my more middle-aged clients or business owners are being really hit hard by this because one, there's a big loss of income, and two, you're getting laid off. There's a lot of credit, mortgage kind of stipulations that are going to come into play real soon.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point. And so, I'll throw my opinion out there, and I've thought about it a lot. Going into this, there was some sort of panic happening, and somebody's got to be panicking. It must be the buyers, or it must be the sellers, or whatever it is. But you're right. The millennials are the largest buying population that we've ever had, and they sit on the couch and they wait and they research before they buy. It takes them longer, or they buy later in life than anybody. And I've got several millennial agents on my team, and I called them all and was like, "What are your friends thinking? What are they saying?" And every one of them said the same thing. All my friends are super excited about this. It's an opportunity for them. They've overanalyzed everything, and they're finally going, the market's not going to crash, but the interest rates are at an all-time low. It's now time to buy. So for me, and I'll pose this question before I go any further to anybody, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market?
That's a good question.
Well, we see it both. We see it both in the Philadelphia market. We see a lot of people that, because of the fact that we simplify the fact to them, they start reaching out to us, and we have just in the last week alone, we have 9 buyers sitting with our loan officer virtually in the processing. And at the other hand, we see sellers that understand that there's a lot of money out there right now, and they're not nudging on the price, and we got 6 under contract. So we don't see the slowdown. The only slowdown that we see is in a house market of 500 more and more, that a little bit slightly drop in price.
I was just on a builder's call yesterday, and builders still have some houses for sale, and they're super motivated. So we were talking tactics, and our builders are willing to offer full seller assist now, or they'll pay 3 years of HOA fees, whatever they need to do, buy down mortgage rates, to entice a buyer to act now. So there's definitely that shift, that little bit of motivation from the sellers that maybe wasn't there 2-3 weeks ago.
Justin, I think one of the things I've noticed, because I do keep an eye on, I'm working both in Philadelphia and in Atlanta markets and in both MLSs, because of the higher density here, we do have a greater inventory as opposed to Atlanta. If you look at Atlanta in the neighborhood where we work, which is, in town, and maybe a 5 to 10 mile radius, not even, the inventory is way lower in Atlanta compared to Philadelphia. And I think that just has to do with the density.
Gotcha. So, where I'm kind of at is, and I've been in the business for, 20-something years now.
Don't tell people.
I know. Well, Valerie, you were 12.
That shows my age.
We were 12 when you met, honey. And is my video popping up when I talk?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because all I can see is you. I didn't know. So I didn't know if it was doing it or I have a setting off. So for the first time, so I'm going to go back and say the driver for this, I think, is the millennials, the largest buying population ever, who has analyzed this, and they're saying this is an opportunity, and it's definitely because of interest rates. But the reason it's different from the recession that we had in 2006 through 9 is that they believe that this is a short-term issue, even if it is an issue, meaning I think that they believe, and I put 6 months on. Gary Keller said 6 months. I've heard a lot of economists say 6 months. I think that's where we're at. And there's even evidence to support that, and I'll get to that in a minute. So the buyers are confident. To me, the sellers are confident too, which is crazy. This is the first time in all my 20-something years of business that I've seen a confident buying side and a confident selling side. And the reason I think that the sellers are confident is that they also believe that this is going to be kind of a 6-month issue. And people, about 95% of people do not have to sell today. And if they're going, am I going to take a 20% cut in the value of my house when this is going to be 6 months long? They're saying no. And so the other 5% that may have to sell don't have to drop their prices by, a massive amount to sell their house because no one else does. So you've got a confident selling market. So to me, it's both sides are confident and people are jumping off the bandwagon. Everybody I talk to, every real estate agent that I talk to is busy. Every lender I talk to is busy. So I think, someone said opportunity earlier, and this is an opportunity for us. So the reason I believe this is going to be 6 months is because if you look back to 2001, 9/11, on Monday, we had a strong economy. Everything was good. On Tuesday, 9/11 happened, right? The market didn't drop. The real estate didn't drop. It stabilized. The prices just stayed the same for 6 months, and then it all kind of turned back around. It was an outside force that no one expected to happen. The recession was, an economic drop in price and everything, and it was over multiple years. And I believe, and I know it's not like a one-day event, but I believe it kind of surprised everybody, and it reminds me of 9/11. So again, I think it's going to be a 6-month issue. And, the good thing about times like this for successful real estate agents who have a database, who work hard, who have a plan, is that, there'll be an agent count loss, but there won't be a unit sales loss. And so this is a massive opportunity for you as an agent to dig in deep and come out of this way ahead of where you are right now.
Justin, I want to piggyback on one thing that you said about the confidence level. You said buyers are confident and so are sellers. And I think what a big takeaway from this needs to be for the majority of agents who didn't live through 9/11 or didn't live through the housing crisis because they weren't agents yet. Not that they weren't alive, they just weren't realtors yet. The majority of agents, and I don't know the numbers for our office here in Philly, majority of agents didn't get licensed until after 2012. I'm assuming kind of in the general population. The housing crisis took out a lot of us, right? So it's time, this seems like shaky ground for you. Lean into those of us who have been here through 9/11, been here through the housing crisis, and know that we're confident. I'm going to use this analogy, and some of you might have heard this before. I heard this, and I think it's a phenomenal analogy. We are like the flight attendants who are still serving cocktails, pushing the bar cart, even though there's turbulence. There's no need for us to take our seats right now. There's no need for us to strap into that jump seat and brace ourselves because we're going to be okay and everything is fine. This is a health crisis. It's affecting our global economy. Yes, and we will have a bump in the road. This is not a housing crisis, and I think there's a huge difference. And so our job as realtors and as the preferred economic advisor for our clients in our database is to be confident and be calm in all of this and know that we will get through this.
And that's a great lead into, so who's freaking out right now?
So I have a question. Or what are you guys telling team leader like myself, what are you guys telling newer agents, a year, 2 years that are on your team, or maybe less than 3 years? What are you advising them, or what would you suggest telling them right now who don't have a big database or don't have a big pipeline because they're still new to the business, so to speak? They're not, 5 years deep like most of us are.
They have one though. I mean, they need to start with their phone, and we have a new agent. Our new agent in Philadelphia is on this call. And he joined us last week. And Alex, I don't see you, and yet I know you're on here, so jump in if you want to. They have a database, Solon. I mean, they start with their phone and start with the people that they know and make those phone calls and introduce themselves as realtors and as their new, realtor of choice to their database. Justin, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, this is an opportunity for anybody and everybody. And I'm going to go back and just talk a little bit about what happened in the last recession, which I don't think it's going to be like that, but we had 3 million real estate agents licensed in the US at that time. On average, there were 5 million units sold per year. The agent count went to almost right above 1 million. So we lost 66% of the agents in America. They went back to corporate America. They freaked out. They quit working real estate. And we went from 5 million sales to 4.1. So we didn't even drop in unit sales more than 20%. So the business is still going to be there. Hopefully we'll lose some agents and then gives people an opportunity. Going back to, if you're new and exactly what Val said, I mean, pick up the phone. 80% of your business comes from people you know or people you've sold property to. So, this is a great time for them to lean into that, pick up the phone, call the database. So what I would say, what's the best thing a new agent can do right now? And that's, work on their database. Make them give you 100 contacts or come up with 100 contacts in the next 30 days. A contact is a phone
Great challenge.
address, mailing address. Make them get all of that and then make them reach out to that person 4 times a month. I think later we're going to actually show you my marketing plan, and it's to that section of people. We actually touch them 3 to 4 times a month. So, that's the challenge. It's hard to get 100 contacts, in 1 month when you have all of the stuff, but make them do that and then put a plan together to make them reach out to them.
The other thing I think that's really important, and this is for new agents, especially Solon, and it's also for all agents. This is the time to double down on education. If you're not investing on a daily basis in your education, you are missing out on the opportunity to be stuck at home working on yourself and really improving your skills and sharpening those skills so that when you are going to be, so when you're first, you're the best agent out there for your clients and your database. How amazing is it that we work with a company that is live streaming educational content daily, not only about real estate and about how to become a better agent, sharpening scripting skills and just how to work in real estate, how to react to this market. I mean, we are so absolutely grateful to be in business with KW right now. No one else is doing this out there in any other brokerage.
That's a script to a client. Yeah, write that down.
Yeah.
I think it's to add on to that, Val. Also, what a great time to learn command even better and develop smart plans for your clients as well.
That's exactly right.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Of course you can, Nancy.
No, I mean, just adding on to what you guys were saying, a couple things. Thinking about when I started in real estate, which is right at the beginning of the recession, and I did really well and better than everybody else right away for, I think, a couple reasons. One, I didn't know that it was bad necessarily. I wasn't, I was just out there plugging along and everybody else was kind of like, what? And I mean, a couple things are different. One thing that's different is new agents can't physically be out there doing open houses, which is a big part of being a new agent. However, we have had one of the lowest inventories I've ever seen in the last 2 years. And I think one good thing is for new agents, there's going to be, I think, a lot more open house opportunities out there once this period ends, and be ready for it. And as Valerie said, one of the reasons I was so successful back then, I did, like 3 open houses every Sunday. But I totally learned as much as I could. I know that maybe I didn't know as much about other agents, but I had bought and sold real estate and my personal story was really helpful to people. But I mean, I read newspapers. You know, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, everything that was going on in real estate and the mortgage market, not just taking these classes, but really being able to, when you have a conversation with somebody that you meet at an open house, seem like, wow, she really knows what she's talking about. And I think that is so important, and it's something that I still think is important. And that goes along with understanding everything you can about mortgages. Talk to a lender, call, learn all the things you don't know, understand how to sit down with a client and walk them through the numbers. You know, take time to learn those things. Learn another thing that's really important, and I'd be happy to help any new agents with this. I do it with my agents, is really knowing how to do a good market analysis on a house to make your buyers and sellers your buyers feel really confident. But another thing I'll say, going back to my own personal experience, you know, I bought my first property, I was taught, in 1998, because I was completely broke and we couldn't afford to save for a wedding. So I bought a 4-unit property. But,
nice.
You know, we bought a property, 2 years later, bought another single house when my husband didn't have a job and I had no money and lived on credit card checks because I knew I had to buy that property, which I live in now. But we bought that property. I got pregnant. 9/11 happened when I was 9 months pregnant, and my husband was starting a new business. And business just stopped for a while. Like, nobody was going out to a restaurant. Here I was with a brand new baby. I had a job, but my husband was working, you know, 7 days a week and not getting paid. So I've been through that. And what did I do? I was scared. I probably had like a stomach ulcer at the time, thinking of millennials, people in that position. And I put my property, my 4-unit building, on the market. And I had like 10 offers on day one. First one was a cash full price offer. And I listed it $30,000 more than what I even planned I would take for it. So I sold a property because I was so nervous that we would go bankrupt. I took that money. I didn't take the money because we were okay, but I was so nervous. So I took that money and I did a 1031 and split it into 2 properties. And my mindset was, okay, if things get really bad, I'll sell off one of them and get access to some money. But because the market had gone up from when we bought that first house, but at the same time, I'll still have some leverage. Well, I never had to sell those properties. But, you know, 2004, I have another baby. My husband ends his business because that didn't make any money, that one. And then in 2005, we buy another restaurant because that's the dumbest thing you can do a year before recession starts. And I quit my job at that point. So now we have no benefits or anything. And I become a realtor. And now we own a restaurant. And we doubled down. We took out all that money we made in real estate. I borrowed out. I emptied my 401k. We put it into our building. We worked our asses off. We spent no money. We worked our asses off to pay down, to buy the building. Because next time we bought a business, we said we will never own a business again unless we own the bricks. And real estate got us through all of that. And now I'm not worried. And we have employees that we'll take care of. And we could be closed for 8 months, but we'll come back and we'll open. And that's because we've invested in real estate over the years. And my first house we bought was $6,000 in cash. We had no money, you know, like, so I've been through these hard times. And every time what saved us in the long run was that our money was in real estate, tangible real estate, not money in the stock market that I couldn't touch and disappeared on me. But that story helped me sell real estate. Like, you can tell people like, this real estate is tangible and they can get through times in the long term with it. So just my thoughts.
Wow. So I wrote down some notes from that because there were a lot of good little points. I just like to circle. Wait, you guys hear me? So I like to circle the wagons, Nancy. One of the things
that was awesome.
Yeah, one of the things you said was market knowledge, and that's another good thing for anybody who's worried about their young agents. You know, market knowledge will be way more than an experienced agent in the market. We've got a girl named Priscilla that's on our team. She's been in the business for, 7, 8, or she was in the business for 8 months, never had a transaction, joined the team. And the first thing I made her do was go out to specific areas and learn the market. She got a lead from an area, and I said, go look at every comp. Yep. And it was a high-end lead. It was a $700,000 lead. For us, that's pretty much about the third tier, and the fourth tier is the highest. And she went out and learned the market and met the people at the property, and the property didn't work for them, but she knew of the other one because she had done all the research. So she ended up contracting that property, one of her first deals at almost I think it was 690, which is crazy because she never thought she could do that. So market knowledge will get you past experience at any point in time. The buyers never even asked her how long she's been in real estate. So that was a great point. You said work hard work. I think one of my favorite sayings is from Mark Spain, and I think he took it from somebody else, but it's hard work trumps talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I love that statement. I'll say it again. It's hard work trumps when talent doesn't work hard. So if you just show up and suit up, you're going to be better than 90% of the agents out there. The last thing that you said was wealth through real estate, basically, is what I heard. And I think that's something that I've always preached to my clients. And when my first time home buyers come back to me and say, hey, I want to sell my house, I don't automatically go, let's sell it. I go, well, let's look at the opportunity that might be in front of you. Could you keep it and rent it and build wealth through real estate and help them grow? So good points there, Nancy. Thank you.
Yeah, and like, even if you have young people that don't have money, like maybe they feel nervous about buying, but you're right. It's the time to start building wealth through real estate. I mean, we started a restaurant and had a baby at 9/11 and at the beginning of the recession. But,
Well, here's what I can say, Nancy. You're a hard worker. You started in the recession. You had a bunch of issues or a bunch of things leaning against you, and you worked hard, and that's how you did it.
I just want to add.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I just want to add to that because I'm a team leader, but I'm also an agent that works from 2005 all the way to here. And knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And keep your panic down as a team leader. It's very crucial nowadays. I have like almost 30 agents on my team. 10 of them just joined us right before the corona. And none of them leaving because of the fact that we are as a team, we support each other. We're all lucky. We are part of big market center. So when you are a new agent, there's no such a thing. You don't have inventory. You always have inventory. You have your team inventory. And as a team member, we are sharing the inventory. The more the merry. The more advertising, the more open house, the more caring for the other agent. Because let's say you don't want to do open house, you have 20 other agents that will do your open house constantly. And when we don't have open house, we reach out to other team members and we do their open house. We're also very lucky, and I was very wise back in the days, and I created full property management. So now I have like 9,000 tenants that I'm doing campaign to them, and that's creating buyers. And by showing them the fact or simple number, right now is a good time. Back in 2008-9, the big difference, the bank crashed. There were no financing. All the subprime flooded and create a chaos. Now it's not the case. Banks have a lot of money to give, and they're giving it. So therefore, you have to educate your client that there is no crisis, there's no loss of trust in the economy. It's just panic. When you are slow down, your client says, breathe, take a walk, do a yoga, and let's buy a house, and they can see that you are confident in what you do, they become follow your lead. The same thing with your agent. A leader in a great time. When it's raining, it's pouring. When everybody's selling and buying, that's easy. When difficult time, that's leadership skill coming. And you have to give them the solution. Always thinking triangle. So knowledge is power. And as a team, you always have extra inventory for your new agent. So you're never alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll add to that because we kind of trying to go here earlier. It's the agents that I finally figured out who are panicking. It's not the buyers, it's not the sellers. That's proven by you guys being busy. It's proven by my team being busy. It's proven by 5 teams that I was on a Zoom call with last week. Every one of them is going, we're busier than we've ever been. So if that's happening, then they're not freaking out. I think it's really the agent. So I agree with you. Don't panic. This is an opportunity for you to grow as an agent and come out of this better than you've ever been. Take that opportunity.
Hey, Justin. So I think it'd be a good opportunity to dive into one of the things that we all can get a little bit better at right now, which is a marketing plan or campaigns or anything like that. I know Val and I talked about that the other day. What are you guys doing? I know I've seen your marketing plan before.
I might need your help.
Right, but
yes,
you know, can you share that with us and kind of talk about how you're doubling down on that and you know what you guys are doing?
So Val, I'll let you take a minute to try to get that up, and I'll talk about something leading into that because I think Ari's about to help you do that. We got the technology person here. Hi, Ari. So yeah, I mean, I think one of the questions that is kind of posed is, what are you doing to reduce expenses in your business right now? And that's something that everybody should be looking at. Fortunately for me, my whole business was built on a very small budget. And we grew our business from 0 to $92 million in sales in 3 years based off about 279.
Can I change how I share it though?
So what we're going to do is Ari's going to throw up the marketing
Give me
plan,
1
and I'm just
second.
going to walk through it. And I'll say this. Go ahead and mute Valerie while you're doing that. I'll say this. You know, you don't have to spend money to make money, and I think most people spend a lot of money, you know, on things like Zillow, Trulia, you know, any type of outside lead source. And you know, the reason that they do that, and they is because they're marketing to people that they don't know. And the reason is because there's a high rejection rate no matter what you do when you're marketing to either people you know or people you don't know. So we used to call them METs or non-METs. And now we're calling them leads and contacts. So a non-MET is a lead and a MET is a contact. And so I'll just kind of go through what that means. So
hey, Justin, let me ask you a real quick question. What screen do you see? Because I work on 2 screens and I'm not sure which screen
you're doing
you're
good.
seeing.
You're doing pretty good. Why don't you just, all right, take the slideshow and move, just see if you can move it.
Are you on can you see you or do you see all my screens?
I see you and all your screen, but.
Okay, then let me do this. How about now?
Perfect. All right, keep going.
There?
Nope, keep going. This is my whole presentation. You want to go all the way to the marketing plan is what we're talking about.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
All right, give me 2 seconds and I'll get there.
Take your time.
I love that when we talked marketing plans, you panicked and said, hey, how can I?
In the meantime, I just want to jump in really quickly. Guys, if you have any questions that kind of don't have to do with the topics that we're talking about at the moment, there's a chat at the bottom that you can type any of your questions, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the very end.
That was it, Val. Val, you were right there.
Okay, got it. Sorry.
Yeah, so there you go.
Phew.
All right, so.
That's the hardest thing I do all day. I'll be happy.
So, all right, so we're going to talk about My Touch program and how we reach out to our sphere and the people that we make our business, that I built my business on. But I want to go back and say, you know, in front of people and I have interaction, I can kind of really see. So I'm just going to give you the points. The reason that people spend money on Zillow, Trulia, or Realtor.com, anything like that, is because they don't care if they get rejected by those people. Because most of us are high eyes to be salespeople. So we want to go spend money on people that we don't know. So if they reject us, we don't care. So generally I go into, 80% of your business comes from people you know. And so why aren't you spending that money on people you know? And then I ask, how comfortable are you touching people your friends 4 times a month? And it's literally like everybody on your phone, every one of your friends. And most people are like, yeah. And again, they don't want to do that because they don't want to be rejected by people they know. So what you've got to realize is that to build a business, you need to be focused on that 80%. And that 80% is people you know or past clients. So we'll walk through this. This is My Touch program. And basically, this is what we do. This is exactly what I did to build a business. And this was 279 contacts. And that got us to about 42 million. And then it started building, the contacts started building after that. There's a guy out of David Hutfaker Group. He's $100 million team too, top 50 in the company. And he did a presentation and he said the same thing. He built his business off of less than 300 contacts. So I think most people think you've got to have 10,000, 20,000 contacts to build a very successful business. No, you've got to have about 300 to 500 to build it, and then you keep growing. Now you need leads, you know, and you need to create your leads. You'll generate them if you do this. So this is my touch program, and it starts with on the 7th of every month. We send out a video email, and you want it to be 90 seconds or less, and wear what you wear every day. Don't, if you wear, you know, a polo, wear a polo. You know, don't put a 3-piece suit on, because you're sending this to people you know. These are people you've sold houses to, or people that are your SOIs, your sphere of influence. And guys, trust me, the camera doesn't put 10 pounds on, and you sound the way that you sound on video. So get past that and just send it out. You want to do 3 topics each quarter, and then you're going to repeat each quarter. Meaning, don't do 12 market updates. If you do 12 market updates, people, you know, if you send 12 videos a year and they're all market updates, people are going to unsubscribe. You know, so the first one, and I put January, February, March just to show you the first one, you do a market update. Then you do something, you know, about the area you serve. You know, it can be new restaurants, a new park, it can be anything that, you know, is new to that area. And then you do something about you and your business, and that can be a fun one, and have fun with that. I mean, I think one of the ones, there were several, but one of the ones we got a huge response from was when the prince and princess got married. We took the cost of the wedding, and we went in and was like, divided that by specific neighborhoods, and basically said, you know, you can buy 842 homes in this neighborhood. You could buy 432 homes in this neighborhood. And people really like that. And then you start over and you go back to market updates, something about the area you serve, and something about your business. Make it fun. I mean, if your phone rings, that's okay. There was a video that I sent out, and by the time, you know, the first one's going to take you an hour for sure to do. The second one probably take you a little bit less time, but eventually you'll just get so comfortable and confident in it that you're sending it out. It was a year and a half in when I was, you know, just so comfortable. And I was sharing an office with my business partner, and I just do the video, and it would literally take me less than 90 seconds to hit send. And it was a Thanksgiving video, and I got a massive amount of people calling me going, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, what are you talking about? And so they're like, you need to go back and watch it. So I went back to watch the video. So I'm standing here watching the video. My partner sits back here, and I'm just doing it. I don't watch it. I'm just doing it. And he does this. I'll show you. He goes, as I'm doing the video, he just does this. And leans in behind me and then leans back out. And people loved it. So, I mean, you can do funny stuff like that and send it out, and people are okay with it. I guess, do we want to do questions per touch, or do you want me to do them and then we'll ask questions later?
I think, hey, Joe, I think go through your touch program and then maybe afterwards do Q&A. Does that sound good?
That sounds good. So on the 15th of every month, it's sending a postcard out. And the postcard needs to be the same size every time, and it needs to be the same color scheme. On the back of the postcard, it never changes. So you keep the back exactly what it is. The only thing that changes on the back is if you add an agent to your team. If you have a team, then you do individual photos, or if someone leaves the team, you take them off. If you have a team photo and someone leaves or someone comes and joins your team, you're gonna have to do new team photos every time. So the only thing on the back of the card that ever changes is adding or taking off photos. If you're an individual, get your MCA, get your owner, your OP's photos, and ask them, can I put you on the back? Because they are part of your team. So if you want to look like you're bigger than you are, you can add people that are in your office with their permission, that you work with. So the front can be fun stuff. I mean, for us in Atlanta, the homestead is a big thing in January. And so we have a homestead exemption. Do you guys have that, Val? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's just
So,
it's not in April.
Okay. So, that's a good thing to send out to your database. And then people always ask, well, what are the best cards that you send out? And the biggest responses that we get are things like, for us, it's college football in the South. And that's huge. The schedule, soccer, the
festivals.
The festival is a big one. So that's our February one, where we list every festival that's happening in Atlanta. And we put little boxes beside it, like little check boxes. And we do the whole year. And that stays up on people's refrigerator, and that's what you want. You guys know you bought a car before, and when you bought your new car, all of a sudden you look around and you see it everywhere. So a postcard is like a reticular activator, and that's what's in your brain that makes you you don't know why you thought of them, but you do. I mean, because most people just grab your card and throw it away, grab your card and throw it away. So that's why you want to keep the same size, the same scheme, the same color scheme and everything. You just want them, they won't even know why they're thinking of you, but a lot of times they grab that postcard and throw it away, unless you can make it something that stays on the refrigerator for the rest of the year. On the 21st of each month, you have the 33 touch, which is amazing that, KW has that. I think it's now called the 36 touch. But everybody in your database, any email that you have should be on the 33 touch program. And, when I joined KW in 2010, I had sold my company and I had to be there a year. And I told my assistant, in 366 days, we're out. We're going to go do this again. Then I'll go sell it again. But, I kind of started buying into the KW thing. I started buying into how, everybody's here to help everybody. But I wouldn't do anything with the 33 touch. And I told my assistant, don't do it. I don't have no interest in that. And one day, all of a sudden, my phone started ringing. And I got calls from a bunch of people. And Joan, my assistant, had downloaded my entire database into the 33 touch. So they were getting email. Here's a technology little tip. If you download an entire database into it, there's a certain checkbox that you have to hit that would automatically put them on the 33 touch. So if you don't do it that way, then you're going to have to go through every single one and add them. So make sure you find out how you do that before you download like 1,000 people. But for us, I mean, it was that email on the 21st of every month that goes out that just started hitting people. And there was a guy, I remember, because one of the calls was Rob Horn called me. And I sold him a house. It was like my second sale in Atlanta, and that was 1997. And it was a big house. It was a $600,000 house then. So this is 2010. So it's been 13 years, and I haven't talked to him. There was no way I would ever pick up the phone and reach out to this guy. Well, his email happened to be part of that upload that Joan did. And he picked up the phone and called me and was like, hey, I got your email and I want to, I'm thinking about selling and then I'm buying. Well, it ended up being a $2 million transaction because his house ended up being about $850 and he bought a $1.2 million house. So that year I can attribute about $4.2 million in sales to just from dumping my database into the 33 touch program. So, and a note too is if you do that, add yourself. So you get the email because you'll have people call you and be like, oh, that was a great article that you sent me about this. And you're like, what? I don't even know what you're talking about. So you need to add yourself so you get it and you can read it. All right, let's move to the next slide. All right, so 4 times a year we call. That's once a quarter, and it's assigned to the agent that represented the buyer. And I mean, they're right now, the easiest reason to call is to just say, check in and go, how you doing? And you're going to get a generic answer. Generally, I'm doing great. Follow that up with, isn't it crazy how the supermarkets are so busy and there's no bread? And, I was walking through there and it was funny, like all the frozen pizzas were gone. And I didn't think that would be something that people would take. So, follow it up with a question and kind of get them talking. And then you can come from contribution with things like, interest rates, and they've fluctuated and have gone up and down. But, one of the things I'm telling my agents to ask is, what is your interest rate? a lot of you guys here have sold houses over the last 5 years. You need to be going back to every one of those, buyer clients that bought a house and just reaching out to them and going, what's the interest rate on your house? And like some of them, like I called a friend named Brantley the other day, and his is at 4.25, and today, the day that I called him, the interest rates had jumped up, and I said, well, now's not the right time for you to refi. I'm going to save your information. I'm going to save this information, and the minute that they drop to a point, I'm going to call you. And so, now you're coming from contribution and helping people. Once you get past that, so that's about a 40, I think that's a 42 touch program. Then you add in kind of your advocate list. These are the top 10% of your people in your database. So try to keep it under 10%. Otherwise, it'll get slightly overwhelming. There are people who bought from you last year, people who sold with you last year, someone who referred someone to you last year, and then you have the raving fans. Maybe they didn't refer someone to you last year, but maybe the year before they referred 3 or 4 people. So that's your advocate list. That's the top 10%. Do 4 things with them a year, and it's coffee. It is, we send a lotto card to them once a year, and just with a little note, and these are handwritten by the agents. They're in a handwritten envelope, and it's, something like silly, like, I hope you're as lucky with this as I was when I met you. So, and that's easy. It's $1 or $2 lotto card. We can send it out. We do a pumpkin giveaway festival once a year. We invite our entire database to that, which is about a little over 3,000 people right now. And we get about 10%, about 300 people show up, but you get credit from the entire database. We do that first or second week in October. It's football season. There's sports for kids and things like that going on. So you don't get a lot of people showing up, but you get credit. We actually tried to deliver pumpkins. We did deliver pumpkins one year. And it about broke all of our backs and took like 5 days. Don't deliver pumpkins, have them come get them. And then you can come up with other things. I mean, like a movie night, and again, you invite 3,000 people, you rent the theater out, and about 10% of them will come, and you just buy the tickets as they come. I think, Val, what else am I missing on that?
The only other thing is some pop-by gifts that we would do in addition to just the mailing of the lotto tickets. Believe it or not, scratch and win, huge response with those. People get so excited over just winning a ticket. It's insane. We've dropped off anything from holiday cheer during the holidays, which is also known as a bottle of wine. We've dropped off little seedling plants in the springtime. We had a great response with a bag of candy at Halloween one time. So yeah, I mean, be creative, show your personality. I think that's huge. What you think your database would like. As far as events, I've seen anything from like a bowling night to movie night, like he mentioned. And like he also said, they just want to be invited, and this is a great opportunity also because you have about a month before the event, you have an opportunity to contact your database and invite them via email, via text, via handwritten note. And after the event, you have an opportunity to follow up and thank the ones who came and reach out to the ones who didn't come and say, hey, I hope to catch you at the next one. Dana did an event for her clients, which was super successful. It was a wine tasting and chocolate pairing, I think, right, Dana? I can't see her. I don't know if she's on or not. I thought that was a fabulous idea.
No, they loved it. I mean, I think I sent out 75 invites and about 25 people came, and some were past clients from 3-4 years ago. And now they're pregnant and they're thinking about selling and buying again. So it was really, really lovely.
And again, it's just about reconnecting with them, right? Especially in person. I wish we could have lunch and coffee with them every quarter. And unfortunately, that's just not the reality in your schedule. I am a huge proponent of taking that top 10% though, and do touch those more often. I probably even have like a top 5 from my top 10 that that I will connect with on a more regular basis, who, you know, get our tickets when we're not going to a sporting event that we have tickets for, or things like that.
So to Chris, yeah, I'm happy to share this my touch program with everybody. I mean, Val, do you? I guess you can just share a copy of this presentation if you want.
Yeah,
this is a presentation that I did at family reunion, so I'm happy. You can send that to Brendan and let him send it out to everybody on the.
Okay.
Yep.
Can I get out of the screen now? Are we done with this?
Yeah. Justin, I think it was your presentation. Did you show like what smart plans you actually have set up on everybody at family reunion? Like, was that you?
No.
Okay, so can we talk about that?
We talked about smart
That's what
plans.
it was. You talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it and the fact that, you know, how you can create them, but to be honest, you know, for us, and unfortunately, you know, I've been part of labs. I helped build this. We were flying out there, you know, all summer, me and Graham. You know, Command is an incredible opportunity for everybody. Right this moment, it's just not perfect for teams. And Gary knows that, and we talk about it, and we're working really hard to make it perfect for teams. So from one side, I was part of building it and like showing, you know, or helping design what we need based on all the systems that I have in place to run my business, which makes it's extremely, incredibly wonderful for individual agents right now. For teams, there are a lot of functionality of it that is good, but it's not perfect. So I haven't really leaned into it that much, unfortunately. But you know, for the individual, you need to lean into it and see what it has to offer. I mean, the Facebook ads are incredible. Things like that are incredible.
And that's for teams of a specific size. I think once you're like above 8 or 10 people, that's where it gets a little tricky. You know, it's still a really good time. And I know I've done this, and we've done this as individual agents on a team, is going ahead and making sure that our database is also in Command. We use an additional CRM, and yet my database is in Command. And I can email through Command, I can email through Bob, either one. Also, the Facebook ads have been awesome. I know that there have been a couple of classes this week through KWRI that have been great on Command. So again, this is the opportunity that we all have with a little extra time on our hands to take those classes and really lean into Command.
A little plug too for Mike and Will. They are doing, I think Campaigns won their little poll that they did yesterday, so they'll be doing
today, right?
Yeah, they'll be doing a Q&A on the Campaign platform, which will be pretty good.
I just literally posted the link as we speak.
That's just good timing.
You sure? Or did you just get the notification?
I'll be there.
So there was a question about if an interest rate difference on what I'm telling my client to do. I'm not telling them to do anything. What I'm doing is finding out what their information is. I'm calling my lender and giving them their information and telling them, you know, hey, when it gets to a point that this person should refi based on this information, then please reach out to them and copy me on the email. And so, like, this is a great opportunity. Like on one of my Facebook posts, I talked about the market and everything. And at the end, I said, you know, if you bought a house in the last couple of years and your interest rate is above a I think I said, I don't remember, 3.5, you know, private message me and I'll get you in touch with somebody that can help you refi. And I got a ton of messages from people that I'd never sold real estate to. But what I said is send me your phone number, email address, mailing address, and you know the interest rate that you have in your house. So I just made a contact of about 50 people that weren't even in my database. And coming from contribution, that really, really will help me. So, you know, that's an opportunity for you guys to get new business right there.
I just want to add one thing. Go ahead.
No, you finish, Avi.
I just want to add one thing. Thinking triangle, especially nowadays, it's a concept that me and Brendan are going to work on it, and we're going to teach the market center that. One thing that we're doing different right now, it's easier than ever, and I'm talking about like our generation in 2008, 2009, we didn't have that much Facebook, we didn't have TikTok, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have none of those tools. And I'm listening a lot to Gary Vee and Simon Sinek. And Gary Vee said, you know, you don't have to be a genius to make money. You just have to, all your clients on Facebook, all your clients are on Instagram. Everybody, you can know everything you want to know about a person, what they like, what they don't like, what they hate, what they love, and reach out to them. And so we came with something very creative with our lender, AnyMac in-house, and we create Perks program. Perks, it's how to save money to your client, and we attach it, we actually created it on each website, and now we will drive traffic to our website by saving money to people. Real simple. We're not gonna, our ad's gonna say, you wanna save money on phone? Click, boom, link to the website. You wanna save money on diaper? Great. We even gonna say in the future, this is information on vaccination, how to not to buy Corona anymore. You know, and this way, how to drive traffic to your website and to you. So you are an old school mind with the new generation technology, and especially the new agent that on your team, that's your money maker. Just they love all day long, self with themselves day in, day out. If they're gonna do like 30% of ads as much as they self with themselves in front of a mirror, then your business is skyrocket. And that's where we're going with that with 2020. So it's going to be a great year.
So, and I think one of the other topics that we want to talk about, and Val, you have the sheet there of the list if we're missing things. But one of the topics was, you know, what are you doing differently now in your business? And I think there's two avenues on this. There is what are you doing different to function in your business, meaning how you show property, how you do, you know, how you navigate closings, how you do things like that. And then there's the other avenue, which is, you know, what are you doing differently that you weren't doing before to generate business? So I'd love to hear people's thoughts on that.
We do one thing. We have an agent that owns a virtual company, a virtual tour company. So we virtual tour all our properties. And that's another tool to get listings because we show our client what we do different than others. So we always working, even if nobody's working, we are still working.
So yeah, I think now more than ever, Matterport is super important. If you're not using Matterport on every listing, I know for us, right, Justin, we used to have a threshold of a certain price point. Above a certain price point, we were doing Matterport. I think now more than ever, on any listing, it's important, and also walkthrough videos. And I think this is a really good best practice that maybe some agents were doing prior to, and now because we've had to adjust how we practice real estate, I think for any listing that you have, you should have, from now moving forward, you should have a video that you took on your iPhone or cell phone of the property. And I know we can't move in Philadelphia. Atlanta has deemed real estate essential, and so they have a little more flexibility. However, people, let's think outside the box. If you can't get to your listing, you have a seller, hopefully. So if it's not a vacant listing, you've got a seller who's living in that home, have them do the video for you. You need this to be able to send it out to other agents who want to sell your listing. Or if they need a specific angle, for example, let's say you have a video and yet you don't have a video of the backyard. Have your seller go and video the backyard. If your seller's not available and you know the neighbor, call the neighbor. We're all in this together, and I hope that everyone kind of thinks about that, especially when we're working with other agents. I mean, they call it cooperative. It's a cooperative brokerage. When you're co-oping with another agent, that's supposed to be helpful.
Yeah, so let's stay on kind of this side of what, from a system, not system or structure. What else are people doing differently? You guys do closings differently than we do, where usually we have the buyer, the seller, both agents, and we meet at a table and we close. So
It's the same. It's a settlement company, not a closing attorney.
yeah. So, but do y'all all meet? Okay.
Yeah. So right now, we obviously typically we all meet, but right now it's very limited to who's going. Doing more seller deed packets and that type of thing. Not really having as many people go to settlements, giving agents the options to go to settlements. Go Abstract is still rocking and rolling, so they're cleaning down like the rooms after every meeting. So we're adapting.
So here's like, again, on the system side or structure side. So we're doing things like drive-by closings. So the buyer goes and they drive up in their car and park. The seller's there, no agents are there. The closing attorney comes outside, everybody stays in their own car, and they sign the paperwork, give it back to the closing attorney. They never even get out of their car. So that's one of the things we're doing right now. Anybody else doing anything different on showings? I mean, I think, Val, you're right. We're videoing every single property, and we're telling, the prospective buyers, please, view the video, make this one of your top 3 before you come see it. We're asking, we're telling the sellers to open all the doors, turn all the lights on, and we're asking the buyers if they have to come in, don't touch anything, don't turn lights off, don't close doors, just leave everything the way it is. Anybody else doing anything above and beyond that we might add to the list? You guys need to be doing drive-by closings from now on. I'm hoping at the end of this, what happens is we learn and realize that agents don't have to go to closings, because honestly, it's a waste of time, in my opinion. We spend, it's a 2.5.
We've always fought about this.
What's that?
You and I have always fought about this.
Well, I mean, if you do your job as an agent, you don't need to go sit there and smile at them. You can ask them, in my opinion, you can, ask for the referral ahead of time. You can take that 2.5 hours and prospect. So
I had a question.
I do want to say something. Let me just jump on something real quick about doing things differently, and then we'll get to the question. Open houses. This is not a time for us to be able to do open houses. Atlanta shouldn't be doing them, and we can't do them here. However, we can still hold virtual open houses. If you have a video, if you have a Matterport, if you have a video of your listing, you can still hold an open house. Just do a Facebook Live event, share the screen, do a Zoom call, share the screen. You can still advertise it as an open house. It's a virtual open house. Let's not lose the connectivity of our industry just because we have to do it through a screen now and on a computer or on a phone. We can still host those kinds of events for the general public. We just have to think outside the box and get creative in how we do it. And thank God we live in a world where technology is so readily available, because we certainly didn't have this in the housing crisis or during 9/11. If we were going through this right now in 2000, we wouldn't be able to practice real estate the way that we're practicing it right now. What was your question?
My question was around showings for those houses that are vacant and empty. I have listings of my own that are vacant properties, and I was wondering what's been the policy regarding sharing lockbox codes with potential buyers that you know and trust. I understand we're not supposed to do that, but now that we're in this situation right now, what's the feel on everyone on that?
You should probably still not do that. I think that's not really like a timing thing. I think that's more of just like a legal thing. So I would be very cautious.
Yeah, I would 100% not recommend that.
If
no
you
matter
have
what.
the opportunity, like if you already have a video, or I would say maybe go, you know, if your seller is comfortable with it, maybe you as the agent can go and take a video and share it with potential buyers. That would probably be a safer way to go about it. And advise the buyers, if they are interested, just have longer contingency periods. Have a 30-day contingency period so they have a longer period of time to go in when it's safe.
Well, and I think Val kind of hit on this earlier. Ask the seller to do a video for you. We're even giving our sellers our login to Zillow and letting them do an upload of those videos. So, I mean, there's options that you can do to not have to go out there, but it's easy for, you know, it's really easy for them just to do a video while they're there and send it to you.
I have a question, Brittany here. So what do you guys have people like putting in offers like sight unseen through like these video tours? Like I feel like I'm at a point with my buyers where, you know, I've sent the virtual tours. Now it's like we're sort of at a standstill. I'm like, okay, like I want you to see it in person. Like I personally don't really feel comfortable like letting a buyer buy something that they only saw through a video. I think, you know, once you go into a house, everybody knows the feel of it is different that you can't really like convey through no matter how good your video or pictures are. So what are you, I mean, I get the longer contingency periods, but that's still, I don't know, it just gives me a little bit of uneasiness.
Brittany,
I mean,
what I've been telling the agents, the buyer's agents that have been talked to in the last week at least, is just to change their own mindset and expectations with that.
Okay.
Unless a client had actually seen the property at least once prior to all this, you know, really shutting down.
Right.
I don't expect too many offers to be flying on sight unseen properties.
Right.
Maybe even especially the brand new constructions that, you know, could or should seem perfect. I don't know of too many people who are willing to put down deposits or real money, you know, in an offer without actually seeing it. So I've been tampering expectations with agents on the offers that I expect to be placed while we're in this, you know, stay-at-home order kind of thing.
Right.
And to just also set the expectations for your clients. You know, like I know some agents have gotten concerned that, you know, their clients think that they're missing out when really we're all missing out. No one's able to get out there. And again, unless someone had a jump and had seen that property in person before all this,
right,
don't expect anything to come off too much to come off the market until everyone is able to get back out there. Now, mind you, once that order's lifted and everybody's able to hit the streets, I think it'll be a flooding, but I don't expect too many offers to go out at the moment.
Okay.
I've had clients buy and put houses under contract through FaceTime. And I've also had clients in the past, not in a situation like this, in a normal market, buy a property, see it on video, and not see it in person until after the closing. I would encourage you guys to think about this a little bit differently. Think about your buyers who are custom building a home. When you custom build a home and you're buying the dirt and you're seeing it come up through the ground, even if they are not doing a custom build, just buying new construction, you sometimes don't see the finished product until you do a final walkthrough, and yet they've put, you know, tens of thousands of dollars on deposits and upgrades already.
True.
Right? So I think that rests on us to be the confident agent who knows, listen, you've been inside a home that looks exactly like this already, or they may live in a property that's similar to it. How many agents can look at the exterior of a property and know exactly how it looks like on the inside? You know, even if you haven't been in it, you probably know where the kitchen is and all of that. I understand that the feel is different. I get that. And yet it does happen. It happens all the time, and it happens in markets that are not this restricted. So I don't know, I'm not saying you need to convince them to do that. However, I think that you just need to explore that and have a different mindset around it.
I agree. It'll definitely happen. I think that it usually happens with the savvier buyers, either who have more experience or more money to kind of, you know, I don't want to say play with, but like that doesn't, every $1,000 doesn't matter exactly to them as like a first time buyer. I just can't imagine too many of my millennial friends buying a home sight unseen. That's the only thing where it will happen. It's just that I think that there will be a tampering of offers in general.
Yeah, and you can have workarounds. I'm trying to think if mine were first-time home buyers, and I think that a few of them were. So sorry, Will. They were savvy though. They knew the market. They'd been watching Zillow. They'd seen 1,000 homes already. You know what I mean? So I think it's one of those things where just be open to it. Have a conversation with your clients around it. They know the inventory a lot more than we give them credit for.
Thanks, Valerie.
And what you guys keep talking about is how uncomfortable or comfortable you feel about it. It's not really your decision, it's your client's decision. And I will say, what Val said earlier, we probably sell 10 homes a year to people that don't see it until they get here for the closing. I mean, and that's outside of this market. So it does happen. But it's not our position to decide whether the buyer's comfortable or not. It's theirs. So you kind of got to go there.
What I do with some seller, I recommend them to do a home inspection before.
That's smart.
Oh, he muted.
What I do recommend, a lot of the seller, not just nowadays in general, they do the seller inspection. They do the home inspection report, and they put it on a table. And again, with the virtual tour, the metaphor that we're doing with every house. 2 days ago, we sent our and the average price between for photo and virtual tour by metaphor, it's $200 to $500, and that's with the drone. So you get a feeling of the whole neighborhood without talking about the neighborhood. So definitely, that's the new generation, and that's what we're gonna go further. I think personally that this whole experience taught us and make us stronger how to be more effective without be involved physically a lot. And that's the greatest thing that's coming out from all this.
If I could say something this.
Good.
So right now we know it's a spring market and we've kind of lost the spring market. But what's predicted is the spring market is going to be pushed into the summer. So it's just the timing. So May, June, July, it may even go into August. But I think what none of you talked about here is that we have low inventory. We all agree about that. Mm-hmm. It's going to get worse because the builders can't build now. So as the builders can't build, that means that there's not going to be that inventory that, we're always fed with new inventory. So what I'm suggesting to my buyers on the new stuff is to put it under contract now, contingent on walking through it. I mean, no one, it's very, very few people are going to buy something with without walking through it, and they're also going to be the builder's going to feel better about having it under contract. My builders are feeling better, even if they've got this contingency in there, because it might be 2 weeks they can walk through it, or 3 or 4 weeks. But what's going to happen is that as soon as the market gets that we can go out there again, there's not going to be any inventory, especially from these builders. So if you express that to your buyers, you may get them on, it doesn't cost them anything. And the builder, what's the big deal? Like, who's going to buy his house at kind of like sight unseen if it's being built? Now, if it's built, if it's not staged already, you may want to talk to someone who does virtual staging. And that's what I'm working with now with a couple of other places that just weren't staged out yet. And there are different levels of virtual staging, and then there are different levels of video between, can they go out there and do it? Probably not, but I don't know, you kind of like figure that out. So I think that letting your buyers know about this market concept, it's probably going to go into August and September, and grab something that's out there now, because once it opens up 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, whatever little new construction is out there, it's going to be like a month behind it. You know, besides everything else, when a builder's building, it's slow in the city now to give you new permits. You know that, right? It used to be like, you know, you can get a $500 and get it within a month. Well, now it's 3-4 months just to get that. Now those people aren't even submitting anything yet. And then when the city workers come back, I mean, they're not going to be the quickest to get everything out the door. So we're really going to have like a lack of new inventory. So for that alone, you've got like a hot item that put under contract. Make sense?
Yeah, and what I'm hearing you say is the time to buy is now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the message we need to give to our clients and to our sphere. The time is now.
Well, there's another part of that too, is that people are scared. They're saying that, well, the stock market dropped off and this and that. And I tell people that, you know, I'm finding people that took their money out of that stock market and they really should have kept it there, because you don't sell when people are scared. But what happened is that if they invest in real estate now, the only thing that's going to wipe out real estate is a hurricane, and I haven't seen one come up to Philadelphia for a long time.
Knock on wood.
And if you explain that to your buyers and your investors, all of a sudden, like, yeah, you know, that makes sense, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing about this market also. And I thought about this when Nancy was talking. You know, this is a really amazing time to show people how when you invest in real estate, it doesn't lose $100,000 in one day on the stock market. You know, I think for those of us who are talking to our past clients and we're asking them what their interest rate is, I think it's a great time to have that conversation, and then also piggyback that with what is their equity position in that house. Is this a good time for them to take out some money from that home that they're in or one of their investment properties to buy another investment property? So these are just great. Again, this is how you get positioned to be their economist of choice, because you're thinking about not necessarily is it, do we sell it? Let's maybe take that equity position and buy something else and create wealth through real estate.
I'm going to, on that, I'm going to piggyback this. It was yesterday or the day before, I read with the 1031 exchanges, you know, their time limit's 45 and 180, but they're extending that. I mean, that's like,
amazing.
That's fantastic for anybody who's got
That's
investments
amazing.
or thinking about doing it. Now, like, you jump on it, that's like a golden ticket. Absolutely.
Yep. Hey, I know we're getting close to 10 o'clock hour. Justin, if you have some last words, I just want to say from all of us, really appreciate you carving out an hour and a half of your time for us to you know, give us your expertise. And I know for everyone, if anybody has any more questions, do you mind if they reach out to you via email and just shoot you an email on what those questions are?
Absolutely. And what I'll do is I'll just put my email in the chat. I think my last thought on this, we didn't quite get there. And it's what are you doing differently to grow your business? We talked about the structure and showing. Don't do anything different. Just do what we've always been saying to do. You know, it's just do what you should have been doing, make the phone calls, reach out to your past clients, you know, actually write the handwritten note cards. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 of my agents who are like calling me going, yeah, I finally sent out that email that you've been telling me to do, and I got 15 responses from it. I finally picked up the phone and called like 5 people. I got 2 people that are buying. Just do what you're supposed to do. There's no reason to do anything different in building. Focus on your past clients. Focus on your sphere. Reach out to people. Send note cards. It's easy and simple. It's not brain surgery. Just do what you've always been told to do, and you'll grow out of this.
Isn't it amazing how much this falls back to the MREA? Like nothing's changed.
Back to basics. Back to basics. You
Back
can't
to the
go wrong with
basics.
basics.
Hey, Chris, Jim Goldstein, can I jump up with a real quick mortgage update that might help everybody? Yesterday, Fannie Mae showed some additional flexibility on appraisal requirements. If you're having trouble getting any of your appraisals in, they're now permitting desktop appraisals or exterior only appraisals when the circumstances dictate. So if you're, and I'm assuming most lenders I know and MI companies are all on board with it. So that should provide some ease up if you're running into any of those problems. And if the lender is not permitting that on their end, you have 3 in-house lenders that probably would. So.
Awesome. That's a good nugget of information, Jim. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey,
for
Chris,
next
real
month.
quick.
Go ahead, Val. Go ahead, Val.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I've got a Zoom call for the office tomorrow. Cocktails with me. I hope you're bartending, and I may be able to, twist Justin's arm to be on it as well. We're talking about teams, but we can talk about anything. I think this is just such an amazing forum for us to brainstorm and mastermind together as agents. And that's 7 o'clock tomorrow, I believe.
Guys, we decided to, anyone who has little kiddos at home, I know it's kind of difficult to jump on the classes during the day. And we had some requests for people from people to do an evening class. So if that is you, if you want to jump on this class, it would be obviously greatly appreciated. We want to get as much attendance as possible so we can maybe continue to do these evening classes. It's kind of a test subject.
Tori, quick question for you. Our Finance of America Cares has a group of seniors that aren't getting any contact, and they have a way to deliver just cards, little notes. If kids are looking for something to do, if you want to get them out of your hair for a couple minutes, have them make a note for these seniors. Kind of draw a little greeting card.
Sure. Yeah. If you want to send me that information, that would be awesome. And then we can even mention that on Val's call tomorrow night too.
I'll put it over to you right now.
Awesome.
So I don't forget.
Yeah. So, and then if anyone wants to host an evening class or a day class or anything like that, reach out to me. You know where to find me, and then we'll go from there. But Val, we really appreciate you doing this evening class. It's
my pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks, Val. And next month, we're going to have another great speaker. So look forward to that as well. And again, thank you, Justin. Thank you, Val. Really appreciate you guys pouring into us today.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
See you guys.